You're listening to Three's a Crowd, the North East Footy Podcast, with Rye for Boro, Steve for Newcastle United, and Ted for Sunderland.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all fantastic, safe and well this beautiful Saturday, the 14th of March, 2026. Can you believe we're already all halfway through March? My birthday soon as well, Ted. Don't forget to send my present because it gets here early. I hope you're all fantastic, safe and well. I hope you all had a fantastic week. We have only got a short show for you today. Unfortunately, we've got to get Mr. Steve Wraith away early, so we will be going for about 45 minutes here, and we'll try and fit everything in as we look backwards, look forwards on all the three North East clubs, the beautiful Newcastle United, Middlesbrough and Sunderland, all played, well, two of us did. Middlesbrough really didn't against Charlton. We're not going to really talk about that one. In fact, that's all we're going to mention. And then we're going to focus on what's coming up. And then Sunderland and Newcastle as well. Newcastle were playing Barca midweek, almost getting a win. Can you believe it? Absolutely incredible. And we had an interesting result in the FA Cup for Mr. Sunderland as well, which we're going to talk about as well. So let's get into it because we don't have much time at all. I hope you're both well. But first, I do have to say a big good morning to Mr. Teddy Mackams. How are we, mate?
Good morning, mate. I'm all right. I'm preparing to leave these sunny shores and come over to the UK next weekend.
Yeah, flights are safe.
There's a game of football on.
Are you going to be able to get up and out of there safely?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
I've had two flights cancelled already because obviously, it's been painted as some sort of war zone. There's absolutely nothing wrong in Cyprus, to be fair. But it looks like, fingers crossed, touch wood and all that, we'll be able to get over there. And I'm looking forward to catch up with a certain Mr. Wraith at some point. I think we're going to go for a pasty and a pint at some point.
Oh, well, I love that. Absolutely. Good morning to you, Mr. Steve Wraith.
Morning, mate. How are you?
I'm doing well, mate. Could be better with the Middlesbrough not losing to Charlton, but apart from that, mate, I'm doing well. Let's get into those results as we look backwards, mate. And we're going to start with you, Mr. Steve Wraith, because it was meant to be a win for Newcastle against Barcelona. I want to talk about that one and obviously the Man City result, Newcastle crashing out of the FA Cup, Man City winning that one 3-1. Let's talk about that one first, but then also, mate, let's more focus on the fact that you almost beat Barcelona, should have beat Barcelona at home. What a fantastic game. Newcastle played incredibly well. Lascelles is incredible.
Lascelles?
No. Is it Lascelles?
No. Lascelles is gone, mate.
Not Lascelles. What's his name? Who played? What's the midfielder?
Lewis Hall.
Joe Linton.
Oh, dear me. How? Lewis Hall was the better player anyway. But I just wanted to comment.
Linton was.
I wanted to comment on Sizer Carty's wonderful analysis of the game, really. I'm not quite sure if they've got the man of the match right in that wonderful thing on the screen there. But, Sizer, thanks for your input. And morning all, is today's episode sponsored by Specsavers. Thank you, Donald. Look, Newcastle United went into that Barcelona game. I think a lot of us felt like it was a free hit. And it was, it was a wonderful performance. And it was a typical performance on that roller coaster ride that Newcastle United are going on this season. There's been so many ups and downs. It beggars belief. And that was a great result. Great atmosphere, great result. And even though, we conceded that last minute penalty, which, people are, obviously some people are down about. I'm very optimistic. It's only half time. We've got to go to the Camp Nou next week and it's doable. It's a game we can win. We could take the game to them. We've been to PSG and put up a good performance. And, we've been to many other places on our travels, including Barcelona and given good performances. So I'm not too downhearted at all. I think we're still in it. When you look at some of the results that the other teams got in the Champions League, Newcastle did particularly well. So, could we get a place in the last eight? Well, we can still dare to dream. No injuries from the game, which is great. Nobody back today for the Chelsea game. So it's as you were. Just got to hope that we, can keep a clean bill of health down at Chelsea and give it our best shot next week. But we've given ourselves a fighting chance. It's great, and there's no doubt in my mind Lewis Hall was the man of the match. He was, given the task, and given some I wouldn't say criticism, but pre-match he was just not given any respect by Barcelona. They've just felt that their star man had to turn up and pull on his shorts, pull on his top and his boots and his shin pads and his socks, and just basically run rampage through Newcastle's back four. Well, he got a lesson from Lewis Hall. In fact, he was in Lewis Hall's back pocket, so that was great. But look, Joe Linton played well. There was a couple of really good performances on the night, but it was a team performance. And yeah, look, fantastic result, fantastic performance, and let's get on to next week. I'm travelling out there on Tuesday, get there in nice time, and book myself in for a ground tour, so I shall be on the pitch prior to the game. It's great. It's great to have these days. I just hope Newcastle are still in some kind of European football next year.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, mate, but never done the tour, so it's an opportunity to do something which is, which is quite unique. The rest of the lads, I think they're just going to get on it early. But I'm going for a little bit of culture, lads, as well. I'm at that age.
I love it, mate. Well, we're looking forward to that. That's going to be, obviously, midweek. We'll preview that very, very soon. We've got to move quickly on to Sunderland. Sunderland, unfortunately, Teddy Boy getting knocked out of the FA Cup 5th round to Port Vale away from home. A goal from a certain Magpie lover doing the Alan Shearer goal celebration as well, just to rub it. Oh, Mackham, Sam. As we move forward, but unfortunately, no FA Cup victory for Sunderland. Regis saying that it was a failure. It was a letdown of the players, but also a letdown from the coaching staff. How did you see that game, mate?
There was nothing unfortunate about it, mate. Port Vale completely deserved that. I've got no qualms about that whatsoever. They outfought us. We can blame the pitch as much as we like and things like that. I'm glad to see Regis Labrise actually isn't doing that. He said it's something that they had to deal with and didn't. It was just a very, very disappointing performance. I think it's highlighted, despite making 14 signings, that the rest of the squad, the backup squad, if you like, just isn't up to standard. And that's highlighted by the back pass from 09. I'm going to stop praising him, because every time I do praise him, he does something absolutely ludicrous, like overhitting a back pass. Credit to the keeper, mind, because to save it the way he did by heading it back over the bar was absolutely tremendous. But it was right what the commentators picked up on. Rather than laughing about that, he should have been absolutely given hell to Luke 09 for that. Wraith, you're an absolute beast. I could just see it out the corner of my eye going, oh, really, really? I'm starting to look more and more like Jimmy Hill, which is quite off-putting. Anyway.
He must be running out, surely.
No, there's plenty.
There's plenty.
So, yeah, listen, mate, it was very, very disappointing. And the thing is, the players have got to live with that now, because those kind of shocks, they stay with players. You look at Wrexham against Arsenal in 92. I only have to mention Hereford United to Steve, where that sort of stuff doesn't go away. So they've got to live with that, mate. They let the fans down. They let themselves down. And, I've got no qualms with that whatsoever. I was very, very disappointed at the way they went about it. You would expect at least a little bit of fight. Bring it down to, all right, let's bring it down to their level, if you like, and play a bit of physical stuff. We've been doing it in the Premier League all season. You would think that we'd be able to handle ourselves, but it was just a big disappointment. I was looking around for a reaction to the goal. And to be honest, when they scored, I genuinely thought that was pretty much game over, even at that point. I just didn't think we had enough on the bench. I think Isidore looks like his head's gone altogether. He doesn't look the same player that started the season, or certainly ended the last season. Mayenda, I was critical of Mayenda at the time, but honestly, I don't think he got enough service into him either. But it just looked laboured. it looked like there was certain players who just didn't care, and I think we've missed out on a glorious opportunity to move on. A quarter-final against Chelsea, we've already beaten them at Stamford Bridge once this season. I would have fancied us to actually go and do it again. As it happens, you fail to beat the League One side, and they deserve their place, and I'm rooting for them. They're getting a massive payday out of that. Steve said after the game as well, somebody like Port Vale, where they were nearly out of business not that long ago.
Yeah.
That's such a big lifeline to get a massive tie like that. So fair play to them. I hope they do well. But the players also massive performance today ahead of, a very, very big game the following weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible coming up to that derby with both teams seemingly, putting their Premier League table, locking in their position towards the end of the season. It's actually the crazy time for the derby where Sunderland are sitting, obviously, and Newcastle as well, completely neck and neck and trying to get in that top half of the Premier League table. I'm absolutely looking forward to that one. But obviously, both teams bowing out of the FA Cup. Middlesbrough obviously played midweek. They played against Charlton Athletic. We lost 1-0. On to the next topic of the show. We're look, honestly, it was horrid. It was teams have figured out a way, lads, to come in and deploy this new, what they call the low block. I'm not sure if you've heard that term in the Premier League, but teams come in, and it's been a criticism, I should say, but a thing that had been deployed against Hellberg when he was in Sweden. A lot of teams figured out that a 5 at the back low block system really neutralized his possession style, and they weren't able to sort of get around using the wings or pass through them. Unfortunately, it's come up trumps. We've now had it against Oxford, Leicester, and now Charlton Athletic, who have managed to take points away, especially at home. I tell you what, if we could play every game for the rest of the season away from home, I'd prefer that, because at least when we're away from home, teams open up and they don't sit so defensively because they're not expecting, to have to defend all the day. And it allows us to play more of this style that Hellberg wants to. When teams come back to the Riverside, much like I think Bristol City will today, and sit back, it is honestly hell. And it is the most boring, most bite your phone in half, smash your glasses, frustrating style of football you'll ever see. Teddy boy, Middlesbrough losing to Charlton 1-0, mate. It was honestly a loss that I didn't see coming, but a loss maybe that needed to happen to wake the boys up with 9 games to go.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming, mate. I had you down for a comfortable win, similar to the QPR kind of thing, but Charlton's another one of those, and yeah, the low block is a frustrating thing. We've deployed.
Do you have it in the Premier League? I was going to say, are there teams that deploy that? Because it is hell.
We're doing it.
Who created it?
It's mate. You can't just get promoted into a division and start playing expansive football and trying to play the beautiful game every single week, because it ain't going to work. If we try to do that against Arsenal and Liverpool, we're going to get absolutely tonked.
Yeah.
So we have to deploy a low block and hit on counter-attacks. It's exactly what we did against Leeds United. I've got my theories on it. See, this is where me and you were going to disagree massively, because there's a certain element of football snobbery now. And to be honest, the likes of Klopp and Pep are to blame for this, because we're seeing this, tick-a-tack football and that kind of thing. Not everybody can play it. Not everybody has got the budget to go out and put a side out like that.
Yeah.
So, you've got to deploy a tactic that works for you. And all we're doing is using, within the rules of the game and all that, we're using our tactics to nullify threats. So, and for the most part, it's actually worked. So I don't mind it, me. It's a smash and grab. It's frustrating. Absolutely, It is frustrating. And Charlton are fighting for their lives down at the bottom end of the table. So they're not going to come up and give it a go against Boro, who can pick sides off. Look what they did against QPR, mate. Charlton must have looked at that and went, well, that's us going 5 at the back then. Can't blame them, mate. They're there to pick up points, and they can't open themselves up and make themselves vulnerable like that. So it was a massive shock, but fair play to them. A total smash and grab. I'm looking at the games that you've got left for the rest of the season, and I've kind of made my own prediction. I think you've got 9 games left.
Correct.
You'll get 15 points out of those 9 games.
Will it be enough?
I think that's where I'm going. That's my question for you, to be honest. Do you think 15 points is enough to go up automatically, or is that you dropping into the playoffs?
The hardest thing for me, mate, is that I would say it's not enough, but given this form that Millwall especially are in, incredibly, it's Alex freaking Snake Neil again coming at our heels, which I absolutely hate. He's in third, and they just can't seem to be losing. And they've got Josh Coburn, Middlesbrough's youth striker that we sold, scoring all the goals for them as well, which keeps them on our heels, which is absolutely frustrating. And then you got Ipswich just behind them as well. Wrexham as well. Wrexham seem to be hanging around as well. They don't seem to be dropping too many points either as well. Huge for them. And they keep putting the buddy Ryan Reynolds and that on the commentary as well, which you get used to in the Premier League, lads. All you're going to hear about is Ryan Reynolds next season when they come up. It's going to be absolutely frustrating. Steve, before we get to everyone's favourite troll of the week, I just want to talk about the low block, mate. Ted said that he's a fan of it. We all don't like Ted, so we don't really listen to it because he likes the low block. And his defensive sort of five at the back is so boring. So Ted's more anti-football. Where do you stand on the low block coming into this beautiful game that we call football, and they come in with these Sean Dyche low block tactics?
It's something that's been commonplace in the Premier League. It's it's affecting Newcastle's high press, that's for certain. Newcastle haven't been found out this season. They've just got nobody who can put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis, and we're suffering with teams coming in and doing that. But it's up to Eddie to find a way around it. That's what good coaches do. They find a way to beat it. I said this week on NUFC Matters that we need to be the ones who maybe set the precedent. If Pep Guardiola went 4-4-2 this week for Man City and got a result, everybody would suddenly start doing 4-4-2. So why doesn't Eddie do it? Eddie's got the players who would benefit from a 4-4-2 going into our last set of games. You've got a big man and a small man, and one of them's got to work. Walter Marder and Asula, Walter Marder and Wissa, Asula and Wissa. Joe Linton and Asula, Joe Linton and Walter Marder. You could play any of that combination up front and give it a go. I haven't even mentioned Anthony Gordon, who of course has been playing through the middle. But for me, then you get the benefit out of the wingers, and suddenly that squad that looks as if it's struggling, suddenly it's got options. Because you could play Anthony Elanga or Anthony Gordon or Harvey Barnes or Jacob Murphy, winging the balls in. You've got, you've got a holding player and an advancing player in the midfield, which means you're not suffering with Bruno missing as much. You could play Tonali sitting deep, and you could have, anybody through that middle. You could have Joe Linton in there and Tonali pushing on, Joe Linton sitting. You could have Ramsey pushing, and you get the picture. And then at the back four, suddenly a back four is just very simple: two full backs and two centre halves. Malik Chow has virtually been an ever present all the way through, so he can alternate with Botman and Byrne, and then you've got Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall who can play full backs. You've got.
What about Asula, though? What about Asula? Obviously, Asula came in and he started against Barcelona. You didn't even bring Walter Marder or Wissa on. Is that the sign of what Eddie Howe, do you think, is that him changing it up now, giving up on the likes of Wissa and Walter Marder in this squad? I mean, you guys played him fantastic.
I don't think he's given up on them. I don't think he's given up on them. I think it's squad rotation. But I mean, Wissa's clearly down the pecking order. Yet when he was asked about Wissa yesterday at the press conference, he said that Wissa's fitter now than he's ever been since he came to Newcastle United. So what does that say? I mean, Wissa, you would imagine, is going to play some part today, as is Walter Marder. But Wissa's clearly third in the pecking order. Asula's a winger for me. I just don't think Asula's a centre forward. And he's an impact player. He comes on for the last 20 minutes. He causes an absolute nightmare for defenders. So that's really going to be that's going to be the $1 million question, what he does today, because obviously that's you'll see what his team's going to be midweek. But the low press, mate, this low block, is really affecting a lot of teams who rely on a forward press. So you've got to find a way around it. That's what coaches get paid to do, mate.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's here to stay, and unfortunately, Teddy won't be here to stay if he keeps supporting the low block and the defensive, boring tactics that these teams are deploying. Lads, we're almost halfway through the show. We've only got a short show for you today. We've got to get Mr. Steve Wraith off, so we have to sit back, relax, enjoy your morning cuppa, because it's time for Troll of the Week.
And as you would imagine, Spurs are getting a bit of stick. And it is Cheltenham week. So if Tottenham was a horse at Cheltenham, And Spurs fans talking about Arsenal's draw like they won't be visiting Southampton themselves next season. And breaking news, Tottenham's board reportedly called Xabi Alonso to offer him the job if Igor Tudor is sacked, explaining their ambitious plan to stay up and win the Champions League. After the call, the board were pleased, while Alonso reportedly changed his phone number so they can't contact him again. In Germany, reports are coming in that Harry Kane's learning English so he can reject a return to Tottenham in the summer. And these never grow old. Igor Tudor has declared he's not cutting his hair until Spurs win a game of football. Arsenal's cup competition so far: FA Cup, they've played Wigan, Mansfield and Southampton. In the Carabao Cup, Port Vale, Brighton, Palace and Chelsea. Champions League, Leverkusen, Boro, Sporting and Barcelona, which is likely. They might play Newcastle, of course. If they don't win the quadruple, it would be the biggest bottle job in history. That's just a fact. And love this. Mr. Arsenal, the journey will not stop until we prove it right. And the man who replies says, trophies literally in sight and they're still heading the wrong way. Talking of trophies, here's a picture of Manchester United's Champions League trophy. Of course, it's the last time they won it. And Raheem Sterling is quite easily the worst signing we've ever made. Absolutely lost for words how much we are paying him and how little he does. Raheem going on to make a good impression at yet another club now. And Tony Montana says Liverpool have broken records for the most expensive goalkeeper, centre-back and midfielder in Premier League history. Interesting for a team that never spends. Best of all, they faded back to Europa League obscurity after all that money spent. So, it doesn't always buy you what you want. FC Barcelona posted, we want to take the win in Newcastle. Well, they didn't. Naomi reported that at least they've nailed the view from the away end. And speaking of the Barcelona game, there is Lewis Hall taking Yamal for a walk. Yes, without penalty, of course. And this Everton fan says, just wondering, Everton, if possible, when we play Sunderland at home, we can put them in the upper corner. And when we play Newcastle at home, we can put them on top of Blackpool Tower. Fair is fair. And a special shout out to this poor fan who it was a tale of two cities, two very different football clubs. For a Barcelona fan who turned up at the wrong St James's Park last night, a Spanish supporter who made the journey to Devon from London turned up at the turnstiles of Exeter City's Adam Stansfield stand last night, expecting to see his team take on Newcastle United. But fair play to the other team that played St James's Park. They did sort them a ticket out for the Lincoln game under the real lights of St James's Park. So credit to them. It is Sunday tomorrow. Let's just pay a little bit of respect to Hackney Marshes, London. 1951, 88 football pitches in total, the true home of Sunday League football. And I love this photo, lads. A 12-year-old Ray Parler already looking like a 25-year-old man with two kids and a mortgage. This,
oh, my God.
Academy photo.
What a legend.
Liverpool fans were welcomed into Galatasaray there with this sign, Liverpool fans' house, we hate, and then they just listed a load of teams that they hate from England, which was a welcoming sign for them. Whereas this Liverpool fan checked into his cell. Hotel, he says, in Leverkusen. It was an Arsenal fan, so he sent a pic to my other half and she said straight away, my God, have you been taken? The only positive I can take is the stadium's only 500 yards away and that my captors are treating me well. Like an ironing board for a bed. I did share that around our WhatsApp group and we've stayed in worse rooms, believe you me. Want to know how to sort VAR out, lads? Well, Hertha Berlin had a possible penalty. They sent the referee to the screen to review it, and some fans invaded the pitch and stole the VAR cable. The referee couldn't see the play, so the VAR official had to decide, and they awarded the penalty, which ended up being a goal. The game is so back. Do not do this at home, children. Fun fact, I know you like your fun facts, Ted. To keep production costs low, many Star Trek scenes were actually filmed on Earth rather than on location in outer space, which I found really annoying. I feel like I've been duped. And how England fans left Frankfurt, it's a disgrace, says this guy. Craig Alt replied, that's tidy compared to how the RAF left it in the 90s. New signing. Let him just sign for the chance, lads. Let him just sign for the chance. Fantastic. And this one as well. I know you love your food. The Hawk Burger, double cheeseburger with bacon at Havant Waterlooville.
Oh, hey.
That's one for you, Ted.
That's incredible.
That's a scram,
I knew you would love it. Okay, if you've got any tweets, send them to me or Ted or Rye at our various social medias or at me, NUFC Matters 8092 at gmail.com.
Oh, we do love a bit of troll of the week. Thank you so much for sending all of your beams in this week. We have absolutely laugh in our WhatsApp group when they come in. Thank you so much for joining us here on Three's a Crowd, the only Northeast football podcast where we bring Newcastle, Sunderland and Middlesbrough fans together and we talk, we banter, we laugh and we cry at some of the results, especially after the given results in this week. But we've got to look forward now because we've got some massive games on the horizon. Newcastle will have Chelsea today, obviously, and then Barcelona midweek. Middlesbrough have got a Bristol City team visiting the Riverside at the early kickoff of 12:30 today, and Sunderland are hosting Brighton as well. So let's look ahead at those quickly. Teddy boy, let's come to you first, mate. Sunderland at home to Brighton. It's been a while since you've seen Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. Obviously, 3 away games prior to this, back at the Stadium of Light before the massive derby, mate. It's going to be interesting today to see how you bounce back against Port Vale and see what sort of Regis starts to shake things up a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, the injury crisis is starting to loosen its grip on the squad, should we say. Brobby apparently is back for today, and as is Dennis Serkin as well. So we should have a more naturally left-footed left-back starting the game rather than Luke O'Nien, which, look, he's been a stand-in, but that's all we expect him to be from now on in terms of his position in the squad. So Serkin back and Brobby back. But Brobby is obviously is a huge player for us. He allows us to sort of hold the ball up and bring other players into the attack as well. So I think as far as our natural method of playing, that's going to be a massive help to us. So yeah. Other than that, we expect to see Xhaka back into the starting position now as well, because obviously I just don't think they wanted to risk him on that pitch last week rather. I think after an ankle injury and playing on something that resembled the Somme in the First World War, I don't think it was exactly ideal conditions for him to roll his ankle again and do more damage. So a bit of careful management there, but I would fully expect him to start again today. But we're playing a side that's very, very good, either home or away in Brighton. Bit of a draw specialist. We got a 0-0 draw down there earlier on in the season, but they're a good side. They've got a couple of players who've maybe underperformed this season. The likes of Mitoma. By his standards, any other season, Mitoma's been arguably one of the unsung heroes of the Premier League. I think he's a fantastic little player, but hitting a bit of an off period at this moment in time, and we're hoping that sort of continues. The main threat for Brighton is somebody who's very, very familiar to Sunderland and Newcastle fans, and that's Danny Welbeck. At 35 years old, he's in double figures again for a striker in the Premier League, which I think is testament, to be honest. I heard a Brighton fan being interviewed about this and saying, how long do you think he's got left at this level? And, they're saying maybe another season after this one. Danny Welbeck's saying absolutely the opposite. Apparently, he's following the same sort of fitness regime as James Milner is. Yeah. And Danny Welbeck reckons he's got another few years left in him. And to be honest, I can see why, because he just knows where the goal is. He's a natural finisher, a very, very good player, probably underrated, to be honest. Obviously, we had him as a youngster on loan under Steve Bruce. How's the bacon? And yeah, listen, he's one of those players that he's likable. He's an honest player. He's a good player.
Some are calling for him to go to England, for England as well.
I can totally understand why.
Yeah.
I can really understand why, because you need a natural finisher. You need somebody who can just pop up and be the right place at the right time. And he leads a line well. So yeah, I can totally understand that. I think he would work well with Kane as well, to be honest, as a sort of a foil for him. I'm all for having big man, small man striker up front. I love that. I'm a traditionalist. But yeah, we've got to keep an eye on him today. No Robin Roofs for this game. He'll be back for the derby. Ronaldo will be back for the derby. He's training now. He's on the grass, Steve, just to use a great expression that we all hate. So yeah, listen, Mukiele apparently will also be available for the derby. He's back running again as well, so he's in full training. Whether we see them make an appearance today, I don't know. Regis Labrise is pretty coy on who he announces for that. So yeah, it's going to be something more resembling what we understand as our starting 11. Although it's a bit nervy as a Sunderland fan, thinking we're only going to get everybody back and playing together again for the derby. I would have preferred if we'd had a game with everybody together, just to kind of just to gel them again. But it ain't going to happen. Injuries are injuries. You've got to manage that, and hopefully we'll get this game today. I actually agree with Tom here. I think a draw today will be a useful result for us. I can see another 6 points coming at home after this. I think we'll beat Forest at home. I think we'll beat Spurs at home. But a draw today against Brighton, that would be no disgrace whatsoever. I think we take that and we move on. So yeah, if you want my prediction, there it is. It's a ones each draw.
Ones each.
I think we move on and build the side towards the big one next week.
It's going to be absolutely incredible moving into next week, and whether both teams obviously have one eye on that. Newcastle have got a fair few other concerns before they get there. But Steve, just before we move on quickly, mate, your prediction today: Sunderland at home to Brighton.
Yeah, it's got draw written all over it. That one. 1-1.
I'm actually going 1-0 to Sunderland. I think they'll bounce back after 3 away performances. They're looking forward to getting back to the stadium.
You've never gone for that. You've never gone for that.
I know. I can't believe it. That I'm telling you. Newcastle have obviously got 2 games this week. Let's preview them quickly. They have got Chelsea away and then Barcelona away. A massive week, but then obviously leading into the big one next weekend as well, Steve. That has to be a back in thought, because Chelsea away today, Barcelona midweek. You'd think the derby is probably a little bit still further back in Newcastle minds, given the week they've got.
I mean, the derby, let's face it, it is a big occasion in the Northeast, but it's just another league game. The games either side of this Barcelona game are irrelevant at the moment, because Barcelona in the Champions League is the be all and end all. It's our final flip of the coin for some silverware. And I know it sounds daft, because ultimately, people are saying Newcastle can't win the Champions League, but why can't they? People said Leicester couldn't win the Premier League, and you just never know. You just never know what can happen. But yeah, Newcastle will be fully focused on Chelsea first and foremost. It's a game that we never do well in. I was shocked when I saw the stats. I shouldn't have been, but 30 visits in the Premier League so far, and 10 points from a possible 90. 7 draws and 1 win in all of the Premier League games that we've played at Chelsea. So it's not a happy hunting ground. Last time we won there was when Papa Cisse scored 2 goals, one of them which was just out of this world. 5:30 kick-off again, live on Sky Sports. I suppose it's a nighttime game as well. It's
under the lights.
Lots of things stacked against it. But yeah, we didn't pick up any injuries, which is good news. I still think there's a question mark over Anthony Gordon's fitness. Eddie Howe says there isn't. He was on the bench. He came on. But if you flash back to when we got that win against Manchester United, I am pretty sure he jarred his ankle celebrating that goal with Asula, because he was limping along that touchline. Everybody saw it. People at the match, people on TV. I'm pretty sure there was something not right with Anthony Gordon, and they're protecting that. But who knows? Lewis Miley and Fabian Shaw are both back in training. Lewis Miley could possibly be back for the Barcelona game, but this game will come too soon. Bruno Guimaraes is back from Brazil, but he's miles off at the moment. But he will be travelling to Barcelona to watch the lads play. If they keep their places in the first 11, Kieran Trippier will make his 100th Premier League start as a Newcastle player. And Lewis Hall can reach a half century of Premier League starts for the club as well, against his former club. Chelsea, they will have their minds on that 5-2 defeat, I think, at PSG. They will want to reverse that this week. So I think they will move a few players around. I think they'll change their squad quite a lot. Levi Colwell isn't playing. Estebo is out. Jamie Gittins is back though. It's a tough game this, but I think like Sunderland lads. I think this is got a few goals in it as well. I think both sides will score. I'm going to go for another 1-1 draw in this.
I'm going 3-2 to Chelsea in this one, Teddy boy.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, Chelsea haven't had a red card in about 3 games, so you can put some money on that for a start off. They'll definitely have somebody sent off in this game. I think they'll be pretty dejected. I don't think there's any way back for them in the Champions League now against PSG. I think 3 goals is just far too much. I think they'll throw everything at this game, but I think Newcastle have got the tools to deal with it. Yeah, go on then. I'm going to go for a draw as well. I'm just going to go for a slightly more entertaining one at 2-2.
And what about a prediction for the midweek, the big one against Barcelona, Steve?
I think that's going to be a draw, and I think we'll go through on penalties. I think Newcastle's got it, but I think it'll be a draw. I think another draw. I think slightly more entertaining goals-wise. I'm going to go 2-2, but I'm going to say that Newcastle United will manage to pull it off in a penalty shootout.
I actually think you're going to win it 1-0 away from home, and then it'll be 90 minutes absolutely scenes at Nou Camp. Teddy boy, midweek, massive game, Newcastle versus Barcelona. Some saying bigger than the derby.
Some would say that. It's you don't fool me, Geordies. You don't fool me. I'm all for extra time, Steve. Absolutely. In fact, if you can play about 3 hours of extra time before you decide then to go to penalties, that'd be absolutely perfect. That'd be lovely. That's a big shout, Steve. I can only say a draw. I'm going to go ones each on the day. I can't pick a winner to go through. It's a flip of a coin. Go on. I can't believe I'm going to do it. Right. Hang on. Jeez, Geordies. Geordie's
Teddy boy! Wow, look at that. Everyone backing Newcastle to get through midweek in a massive game against Barcelona. We'll be watching that one.
Only by luck.
Right, last game we need to preview is Middlesbrough at home to Bristol City. They have got the early kickoff today in the Championship. Middlesbrough looking to bounce back from a back 5 low block that Ted loves against Bristol City. Middlesbrough's record against Bristol City is horrid. Emile Reese obviously used to be at Preston and now he is at Bristol City. For some reason, Emile Reese doesn't score in any other game except for against Middlesbrough. He'll be lining up today looking to complete his absolute 50th goal in record timing against Middlesbrough because that's the only time he scores. Middlesbrough are a little bit deflated going into this one, I would think, at home. Expecting Bristol to come and to deploy another low block. It seems to work against Kim Hellberg's teams. They don't seem to be able to break it down. We can't seem to score past it. So I'd expect a back 5 from Bristol City. Another dog in performance from Bristol City in their defensive half. I mean, it's going to be hopefully one that we see Middlesbrough hoping to find an answer to these low block back 5s that are coming to the Riverside. Middlesbrough will be buoyed by the comeback of Alan Brown. Alan Brown missed midweek Charlton because of an injury against QPR. Middlesbrough really desperately need Alan Brown. I never thought I'd say that about a 31-year-old midfielder, but when he's out there, he's honestly making Middlesbrough a better team. And Middlesbrough will be hoping that Dale Fry, who missed midweek as well, can come back into the defence and add a little bit of strength and a little bit of body when it comes to set pieces. Teddy boy, Middlesbrough at home to Bristol City, expect a low block, which you love.
I think you'll break the hoodoo, mate. I really do. I think you will bounce back from this one. Yeah, Bristol City are always a well-organised side, mate. They're a good championship outfit. But I just fancy with Brown back as well. He's kind of that. He's the engine that kind of keeps everything ticking over. Mate. He's such a good player at championship level. So yeah, I can see him pulling the strings. In fact, do you know what? I would even stick my neck out and say Brown for the win at the day, 1-0 to Boro.
Yes, I absolutely love that. I'm going 5-0 to the Boro. Steve, obviously, over to you, mate. Middlesbrough at home to Bristol City.
You need a win because all your rivals are playing teams that are towards the bottom of the table. Some of them have got now to play for, and the flip-flops won't be on with the chasers in the pack. So you need a win. 2-0 win today for Boro, and business as usual. But Millwall, Ipswich, Hull all got games against teams towards the bottom, mate, and that 3 points is vital. So yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-0 win, mate.
It's absolutely incredible to see Middlesbrough in this position. Let's not forget, second in the table with 9 games to go. It's still all to play for in the championship. 9 games to go for you, Teddy boy. 10 games to go for Newcastle, including that massive Champions League. It's going to be an epic end to this season with a derby on the horizon next weekend. Can you believe it? Newcastle v Sunderland in the Premier League, something that we can look forward to by the looks of it, with Sunderland, albeit staying up in the Premier League this season for another big push next season. It's going to be incredible, and hopefully they're joined by Middlesbrough for 3 Northeast teams in the Premier League. Last time that happened, lads, was it 2009? 2009. Yeah. We had all 3 teams in the Premier League. So, I mean, it's going to be absolutely incredible to have 3 Northeast games. I mean, a couple of local trips for all the lads as well, which is going to be incredible. But good luck to Newcastle, obviously going away to Barcelona this week. Steve, you are travelling. We wish you all a safe journey. Have a fantastic day out, mate. Enjoy the day.
Thanks, man.
Hopefully bring back the Champions League points. Teddy boy, obviously Sunderland are at home. Enjoy the day out at St. James. At Stadium of Light, almost St. James. Stadium of Light. I know.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm just angry.
Isn't it weird? That's just where our friendship ended.
I'm angry because of you and the low block and the love for 5 at the back and you anti-footballing.
I'm a defender. Also like it.
Middlesbrough fans, enjoy your trip. Obviously, they've got a day out at the Riverside to enjoy, hopefully against Bristol City, a bit of a bogey team, unfortunately, in previous weeks. We wish you all the best. Thank you so much. It is have to be a short one today. We do apologise, but we have to get Mr. Steve Wraith off. He is obviously travelling to Spain this week as well. So, the luxury of some. No, and sorry to break all the hearts of Star Trek fans who've just realised that the filming was on Earth. I cannot believe it. And I'm just as shocked at Ted's love for the back 5 as is the Star Trek revelation that we've had today on the Breaking. Best podcast in the Northeast. We love each and every one of you. We thank you so much for supporting us. Make sure you hit the like button and consider subscribing. Check out at NUFC Matters, at Invictus, at Ted the Mackham, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, Newcastle for all your news. We'll be back next week to look back and preview the big derby, Newcastle at home to Sunderland next week. We will be right here, the only place you can get all the Northeast coverage is right here on Three's a Crowd, the only Northeast pod. We love each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Going down.
How the fuck did it know I was Tottenham supporter?
Three's a Crowd podcast will return. That's not a threat, it's a promise.
Good stuff, lads.
Fantastic finish that line. Lads, I'm doing Saturday or Sunday next week because I'm going to be travelling to the airport. I've got to travel to the other side of the island on Saturday lunchtime to get my flight.
Let me just check, mate, because I don't think I'm doing anything, mate. So Saturday should be fine.
I don't mind doing like early on the Sunday morning if you want.
When's the derby?
Sunday midday kickoff.
Sunday midday, okay.
Saturday is better for me. I've got absolutely nothing on.
Do you want to do the same?